Electric cars are taking the world by storm, and it's no wonder why. With their sleek designs and zero emissions, they're becoming the go-to choice for eco-conscious drivers. But the debate rages on. Are they really better than gasoline-powered cars? On one hand, EVs promise lower running costs and a smaller carbon footprint. On the other, gasoline cars offer longer ranges and quicker refueling. As more people make the switch to electric, it's crucial to weigh the pros and cons. So, what's the verdict? Are electric cars truly the future, or do gasoline engines still have the edge? Electric cars are revolutionizing our roads by producing zero tailpipe emissions, which means cleaner air for everyone. When we charge them with renewable energy sources like solar or wind, we're taking a giant leap towards sustainability. However, we can't ignore the concerns surrounding battery production and disposal, which can have environmental impacts of their own. Plus, burning fossil fuels releases a staggering amount of CO2, contributing to climate change. On the bright side, advancements in fuel efficiency and hybrid technology are making strides to reduce our reliance on gas, paving the way for a greener future. It's a complex journey, but every step counts.
When it comes to performance, electric cars and gasoline cars each have their own unique strengths. Let's dive into the world of power, speed, and range. Electric cars, like the Tesla Model S, are redefining what we think about acceleration. Imagine pressing the pedal and feeling that instant torque. It's like being launched from a catapult. The Model S can go from 0 to 60 in just a few seconds. That immediate response is exhilarating and gives you a sense of control that's hard to match. You're not just driving, you're experiencing a rush that's almost addictive. But let's talk about the elephant in the room: range anxiety. While electric cars offer incredible performance, they come with a limitation: battery range. Depending on the model, you might get anywhere from 200 to 400 miles on a single charge. For many, that's a comfortable distance for daily commutes. But what about those long road trips? The thought of running out of juice miles away from a charging station can be nerve-wracking. Charging infrastructure is improving, but it still lags behind the convenience of a gas station. You might find yourself planning your route around charging stops, which can disrupt the spontaneity of travel. Now let's shift gears to gasoline cars. They offer a traditional driving experience that many enthusiasts cherish. The roar of the engine, the feel of the gears shifting, there's something visceral about it. High-speed performance is where gasoline cars shine, especially on the highway. With a powerful engine, you can easily hit those high speeds and maintain them without worrying about recharging. Plus, refueling takes just a few minutes. You can fill up your tank and be back on the road in no time, making long-distance travel much more straightforward. One of the biggest advantages of gasoline cars is their driving range. Many models can easily exceed 400 miles on a full tank, and with gas stations available almost everywhere, you can travel without the constant worry of finding a charging station. This makes them particularly appealing for those who frequently embark on long journeys or live in areas where charging infrastructure is still developing. In summary, electric cars offer thrilling acceleration and a futuristic driving experience, but they come with the challenge of range anxiety. On the other hand, gasoline cars provide a reliable and familiar performance, with the advantage of long driving ranges and quick refueling. Each has its own appeal, and the choice ultimately comes down to what you value most in your driving experience. Whether you prefer the instant thrill of electric power or the traditional reliability of gasoline, both have their place in the automotive world. When it comes to the cost of electric cars versus gasoline cars, there's a lot to unpack. Let's dive right in. First off, electric vehicles, or EVs, typically have a higher upfront cost. You might be looking at a price tag that's several $1,000s more than a comparable gasoline car. However, it's important to note that prices for EVs are steadily falling. Manufacturers are ramping up production, and as technology advances, those initial costs are becoming more manageable. Now, let's talk about long-term expenses. One of the biggest advantages of owning an electric vehicle is the lower maintenance costs. EVs have fewer moving parts compared to traditional gas-powered cars. You won't need oil changes, and there's less wear and tear on components like brakes, thanks to regenerative braking. This can lead to significant savings over time. Then there's the cost of fueling your vehicle. Charging an electric car is generally cheaper than filling up a gas tank. Depending on your local electricity rates, you could be spending a fraction of what you would on gasoline. Plus, if you have access to home charging, you can take advantage of off-peak rates, further reducing your costs. On the flip side, gasoline cars usually come with a lower upfront purchase price. You can find many reliable models that won't break the bank. However, when you factor in fuel costs, things start to shift. Gas prices can fluctuate wildly, and over time, those trips to the pump can really add up. Maintenance for gasoline cars also tends to be higher. Regular oil changes, exhaust system repairs, and other routine services can become a burden on your wallet. So, while the initial sticker shock of an electric vehicle might make you hesitate, consider the long-term savings on maintenance and fuel. In contrast, gasoline cars might be easier on your budget at first, but those ongoing costs can catch up with you. Ultimately, the choice between electric and gasoline vehicles isn't just about the upfront price. It's about what makes the most sense for your lifestyle and budget in the long run. When we talk about the future of transportation, the conversation often centers around electric cars and their charging infrastructure versus the well-established gas stations that have dominated for over a century. Let's dive into this topic, starting with the electric vehicle landscape. The network of charging stations for electric cars is expanding rapidly. It's impressive to see how cities and highways are becoming dotted with charging points, making long-distance travel more feasible for EV owners. You can find Level 2 chargers in shopping centers, workplaces, and even residential areas. These chargers are perfect for topping up while you go about your day. But let's not forget about the public fast chargers. These are game changers, allowing you to charge your vehicle to about 80% in roughly 30 minutes. That's a coffee break. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: charging time. Yes, it's true that charging an electric vehicle takes longer than filling up a gas tank. A gas station visit is a quick pit stop, usually just a few minutes. But consider this: most EV owners charge their cars at home overnight. It's like waking up to a full tank every morning. For many, that convenience outweighs the occasional longer charging time during road trips. On the flip side, we have gasoline cars, which benefit from a well-established global infrastructure. Gas stations are everywhere, and refueling is a breeze. You pull in, fill up, and you're back on the road in no time. This convenience has been a significant factor in the popularity of gasoline vehicles for decades. However, as electric vehicles gain traction, the infrastructure is catching up. The growing network of charging stations is addressing concerns about range anxiety. Many states are investing heavily in charging infrastructure, making it easier to find a charging station when you need one. Plus, advancements in battery technology are continually improving charging speeds and range, making electric vehicles more appealing. It's also worth mentioning the environmental aspect. Electric vehicles produce zero tailpipe emissions, which is a significant advantage over gasoline cars. As more renewable energy sources come online, the carbon footprint of charging an EV continues to decrease. This shift not only benefits the environment, but also aligns with a growing consumer demand for sustainable options. In conclusion, while gasoline cars currently have the upper hand in terms of refueling speed and infrastructure, the electric vehicle landscape is evolving. The convenience of home charging, the expansion of fast chargers, and the environmental benefits are compelling reasons to consider making the switch. The future of transportation is undoubtedly electric, and as the infrastructure continues to grow, the gap between charging and refueling will narrow.
When we talk about reliability and maintenance, electric cars and gasoline cars present two very different landscapes. Let's dive into it. Electric cars are designed with simplicity in mind. They have fewer moving parts compared to traditional gasoline vehicles. This streamlined design means there are fewer mechanical issues to worry about. Think about it: no complex engine systems, no exhaust systems, and no need for oil changes. This simplicity can lead to a more reliable driving experience. However, the big question on everyone's mind is battery longevity. Electric vehicle batteries are designed to last a long time, often around 8 to 15 years, depending on usage and care. But here's the catch: when they do need to be replaced, it can be a hefty expense. Replacement costs can range from $5,000 to $15,000, depending on the model. That's a significant factor to consider, when weighing the long-term costs of owning an electric vehicle. On the flip side, gasoline cars come with a familiar technology that most of us know well. Mechanics are everywhere, and parts are readily available. If something goes wrong, you can usually find a shop nearby that can help you out. However, this familiarity comes with its own set of challenges. Gasoline cars require more frequent maintenance. Regular oil changes, engine repairs, and other routine services can add up over time. In terms of reliability, gasoline cars might not be as dependable in the long run as electric vehicles, but they do offer a sense of comfort in knowing that help is just around the corner. You can pop into a local mechanic without a second thought, and they'll likely have the parts you need on hand. So, when weighing the reliability and maintenance of electric versus gasoline cars, it's essential to consider your lifestyle and driving habits. If you're someone who drives a lot and prefers a low-maintenance option, an electric vehicle might be the way to go. But if you value the convenience of easily accessible repairs and are comfortable with regular maintenance, a gasoline car could still be a solid choice. Ultimately, both types of vehicles have their pros and cons. It's all about finding the right balance that fits your needs and preferences. Whether you lean towards the innovative world of electric cars or the tried-and-true gasoline engines, understanding these differences can help you make a more informed decision about your next vehicle. Government subsidies, tax credits, and incentives for electric vehicle buyers are reshaping the automotive landscape. These financial boosts make EVs more accessible, encouraging consumers to make the switch from gas-powered cars. For instance, federal tax credits can knock thousands off the price of a new electric vehicle, while many states offer additional incentives, like rebates or reduced registration fees. This is a significant shift, especially when you consider how much the upfront cost of EVs can deter potential buyers. Looking ahead, we see a clear trend. Certain regions are planning to phase out gasoline cars altogether. California, for example, has set ambitious goals to ban the sale of new gas-powered vehicles by 2035. This is not just a local initiative. Other states are following suit, aiming to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and combat climate change. The push for stricter emissions regulations is gaining momentum, with many countries adopting similar policies. The goal is to create a cleaner, more sustainable future, but it raises questions about the fairness of phasing out gas-powered cars. Some argue that gas-powered vehicles are being unfairly targeted. After all, many people rely on them for their daily commutes, and not everyone can afford an electric vehicle, even with incentives. The infrastructure for charging stations is still developing, which can make owning an EV less practical for those living in rural areas or in apartments without dedicated parking. It's a complex issue, balancing environmental goals with the realities of consumer needs. On the flip side, proponents of the phase-out argue that the transition is necessary for the health of our planet. They point out that gas-powered cars contribute significantly to air pollution and climate change. By pushing for electric vehicles, we're investing in a cleaner future. The technology is advancing rapidly, with improvements in battery life and charging speed making EVs more appealing every day. The debate continues. Are we moving too fast in phasing out gas-powered cars? Or is this a necessary step toward a sustainable future? As we navigate these changes, it's essential to consider the broader implications for consumers, the environment, and the automotive industry. The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear. The shift toward electric vehicles is not just a trend. It's a fundamental change in how we think about transportation. Electric vehicle technology is evolving at an incredible pace, especially with advancements like solid-state batteries. These batteries promise to deliver longer ranges, faster charging times, and improved safety compared to traditional lithium-ion batteries. Imagine driving 500 miles on a single charge and recharging in just 15 minutes. This is becoming a reality. But what about gasoline-powered cars? They're not going away just yet. In high-performance and niche markets, the roar of a combustion engine still captivates enthusiasts. Cars like the Ferrari or Porsche are iconic for their sound and feel, and while electric alternatives are emerging, they haven't fully captured that essence. Then there are hybrids, which serve as a practical middle ground. They combine the best of both worlds: electric efficiency for city driving and gasoline power for longer trips. This flexibility appeals to many drivers who aren't ready to fully commit to electric yet. As we look ahead, it's clear that while electric vehicles are leading the charge, gasoline cars will still have a role, especially in performance and specialized markets. The future of driving is diverse, and that's what makes it exciting.
When it comes to deciding which option is better for you, it really boils down to your individual needs. Let's break down some key points from the debate. First, consider environmental concerns. If you're passionate about reducing your carbon footprint, electric vehicles might be the way to go. They produce zero tailpipe emissions and can be powered by renewable energy sources. On the other hand, traditional gas vehicles have improved in fuel efficiency and emissions over the years, but they still contribute to pollution. So, if sustainability is a priority for you, that's something to weigh heavily. Next up is budget. Electric vehicles often come with a higher upfront cost, but don't forget about the long-term savings. Lower fuel costs and reduced maintenance can really add up over time. Plus, there are often tax incentives and rebates available for EV buyers. However, if you're on a tighter budget, a reliable gas vehicle might be more accessible right now. It's all about what fits your financial situation best. Now, let's talk about driving habits. If you're someone who frequently takes long road trips, a gas vehicle might offer more convenience with its established refueling infrastructure. Electric vehicles are catching up, but charging stations can still be sparse in certain areas. On the flip side, if most of your driving is local, an EV could be perfect for you, allowing you to charge at home and avoid the hassle of gas stations altogether. Ultimately, the choice between electric and gas vehicles isn't a one-size-fits-all situation. It's about finding what aligns with your lifestyle, values, and budget. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this debate. What factors matter most to you? Share your opinions in the comments below.